So good morning, everybody. This is the second time I'm doing 5G news and the latest, as everybody's probably aware that yesterday, and this is Christmas of all times, this we're talking about during the Christmas season, Mark Steele had the police barge into his house, challenging Mark on why apparently he had actually taken a one of these LED street lights, basically accusing him of theft. Now we saw the this coverage happening. It was recorded through a man called Shay, his internet channel, and we saw the police challenging Mark regarding this LED streetlight. Now, of course, this was in regard to Mark's video, where we saw Mark break down the details of what this technology was and how this LED streetlight was actually a weapon and not a standard LED street light, all part of the 5G system. And of course, there are videos online that look into very basic LED street lights, but this, what is being rolled out in Gateshead, is something completely different. So the police there were basically harassing Mark, putting him under pressure, and throwing these accusations at him. And Mark was quite rightly defending himself and also explaining to the police that this was contributing to genocide and that they'd already received quite a number of complaints from people, 20 different individuals in the Gateshead area, of genocide. And of course, this is going ignored. So this is very serious indeed. And of course, this comes on the back of Mark Steele lodging a complaint with the police, with the Independent Office for Police Conduct, in writing. And, he basically showed a letter on his YouTube channel from the police. But unfortunately, this basically was rubbishing his complaints. So Mark is taking it further, and I believe all right-minded people must support Mark in his action against Gateshead Council and the police. So we've also got Lee Garrett in Blaydon near Gateshead, who during the election campaign, he basically called Liz Twist, who's the MP there, a criminal for not addressing the 5G crime. And he was pressured into taking the video off YouTube. And despite that happening, the police are still taking action against Lee. He was called into the police office where he had to hand himself in. And they've basically said, look, we'll caution you. And he said, I'm sorry, this 5G is a crime. I will not accept a caution. This needs to be debated in a court of law. And ultimately, this 5G is such a massive issue that the police and the councils have to be held to account. And I think in a court of law is a perfect place to hold these individuals, these criminals, to account for not addressing 5G. And on the topic of covering 5G, if you are a news outlet, or even if you're an independent news outlet, if you're not covering 5G, you're basically covering it up. 5G is one of the most important issues now that we're facing. People are dying, animals are dropping dead, insects are dropping dead, people are dying, cancers are up, neurological diseases up. If you're not covering this issue, you're covering it up. And I implore especially the independent media, who have a lot more flexibility, to be covering 5G, because this is extremely important that we make people aware, because we're running out of time here. People need to be woken up. So we really need to get behind those people who are putting their lives on the line and speaking out against 5G. And we've got a number of opportunities coming up, events that I'm going to be mentioning. Also Switzerland, one of the countries which is leading in terms of the rollout of 5G and the rollout of these transmitters. Apparently, according to a local news agency, they now have 90% coverage. And of course, if you look at the laws in Switzerland, the Swiss people have the right to arm themselves. A lot of people in Switzerland have guns. So this is despite mass opposition in Switzerland. So I can see a possibility where people start to utilize those arms against some of these transmitters. And it really wouldn't surprise me because in a number of countries now, Denmark and Norway, there are legal actions being taken against the governments in those countries on the issue of 5G. In Denmark, of course, where I spoke recently with Mark, there is a political party set up by Mads Palsvik where they're suing the government. And this is another avenue people are taking. So upcoming, we have January the 25th, there will be a global protest. Now, I'm still investigating who's behind setting this up. And it seems to be that this is happening in a number of countries where people will protest against the rollout of 5G and demonstrate in the streets. They'll form different protests. And of course, this is the lead up to the big spring offensive in March 2020. So March the 20th of 2020, when we'll have a big demonstration in the UK. And this was suggested to me by Mark. We're thinking of gathering in a city, having a big demonstration, making our voices heard. And of course, I will update you as soon as I have further information about where that will be. As well as that, Saturday the 11th of January in Bournemouth, I will be doing a presentation and speaking on the dangers of 5G. And that will be at 2 p.m. at the Beaufort Community Centre, BH6 5LB. So please come along if you're in Bournemouth. This is a great opportunity to invite your friends. We've had Emma Johnson, who is running as a candidate for MP in Bournemouth, and she's been committing a lot of her time to raising awareness of 5G. So we really need to get behind Emma. Former group in Bournemouth, and I'm aware that a number of people have been challenging the council there, and unfortunately a lot of this is falling on deaf ears. So we've really got to step the pressure up here in Bournemouth, since it's one of the first cities in the UK that is basically turning itself into a smart city. And you've got Ordnance Survey who are mapping out the city there to see where they can cut down trees. So this is a humanitarian crime that is happening across the country, but Bournemouth is a very important place. I've also been invited to speak at some other locations. As soon as those are confirmed, I'll let you know. And if you're interested in me speaking, please let me know, or interested in this 5G tour that Mark and I are planning to do. Please also feel free to contact me through 5gawareness.com. So spread the word, spread the information, share the videos that I've recently uploaded. We've got the one on the police engaging with Mark, extremely important video. And not only, is he actually very civil to them, considering the way in which they've just stormed into his house. He goes on to explain about how this is a crime and how Gateshead Council, Mike Barker, of course, who's invested in 5G technologies, is partially responsible for rolling this out. And of course, it was Mike Barker, who I believe is the head of legal there at Gateshead, who brought the charges against Mark, who pushed this injunction against Mark Steele. So please share the video and please stay updated, and I will make sure to bring you some more news in the coming days, and I'll wish everybody a very happy new year. Thank you.